And now, presenting you with a shot that I don't understand why it happened. I don't know what to tell you. Now let's get into the video. Hey everybody, this is ExxotikGaming here, and today I'm back with another Call of Duty mobile tips and tricks video. This video will be a massive help to anyone who likes gun game, because I'm going to give you all of the best tips and tricks in order to win consistently in gun game. You may think this game mode is just about running and gunning without too much skill involved, but that right there is where I'm gonna stop you. In fact, there are tons of different things you can do that'll make you stand out from everyone else and actually do insanely well in this game mode. We'll be talking about in-game actions, settings, controls, and so much more. We'll get into more and more advanced tips as this video goes on, so be sure to watch until the end. So get strapped in, grab some popcorn, and I hope you enjoy. Leave a like because it literally takes 1 second and it helps out this channel oh so much. Subscribe for tons more awesome Call of Duty mobile tips and tricks videos just like this, and let's begin. Alright guys, so starting things off, let's get into the whole mindset of gun game. It's arguably the most intense game mode in Call of Duty Mobile, and completely unrelated, I'd say it's my favorite game mode. I mean, who doesn't love a game mode that lets you use all the different guns? Now, the whole idea behind this is it's actually a really good way to get better at the game in general. Since you're using every different weapon, you're forced out of your comfort zone and you have to use things you're maybe not the best at. In order to maximize success in this way, what should you do? Well, play a match or two and see which weapons you struggle with the most. For me personally, it's always been the snipers, but for you, it may be something completely different. And hey, that's okay. What you should do is pinpoint the weapons that you're struggling with and then go into practice with AI matches and use those weapons there. It's very easy to get kills in those types of matches, but it's also the best way to learn how to use a weapon properly, right from the very beginning. However, that's a simple tip. Let's get more in depth. Continuing on, a more technical tip that I would always recommend for you guys is trying to find that perfect section of the map where you can essentially camp in a way. Now, this isn't traditional camping, okay? I'm saying that right now because I hate traditional camping, where like, for example, you hide in a bush in Battle Royale. But you're rather choosing an area like over here in this section of Crash where you're sort of semi-protected from all of the players, but you'll also still come in contact with a lot of them as well. You just won't come in contact with everyone all at once. You just have to run back and forth in and out of this walled area, and then you can pick people off one by one. Since we're talking about Crash, areas like this building and up here toward the higher level of the map are always good. You want to try to avoid the very center of maps if you can help it, because, I mean, everybody's going to be running toward that middle point. And how are you supposed to kill 6 people at once when they're firing at you from the front, back, left, and right? You probably can't. So you want to minimize this issue by trying to stay in an area where there's maybe only 2 spots of vulnerability, not everywhere. You just have to look in front of you and behind you, for example, and you'll be surprised how much this helps. Your ultimate goal is to find that perfect spot in the map for you. And it's probably going to be different from everyone else's perfect spot. It's okay. I mean, if there was only one single good spot in any of the gun game maps, then everyone would always go there and it would be a horrible experience. So go around, test out a different couple of spots, and then see how long you can survive in them. Generally, the spot that you can survive in the longest is probably the place you're going to want to go to in your future matches. Something I've always noticed in gun game is the fact that people spawn a lot closer to you and more frequently than even free-for-all matches, for example. Because of this, you have to be super on edge all of the time. It would actually be in your best interest to increase your sensitivity a bit in gun game. I personally like to have a higher sensitivity in gun game over free-for-all, battle royale, zombies, etc. because if I'm not the very best with a particular weapon, it's always better to have a little too high of a sensitivity over a little too low of a sensitivity. Plus, you're constantly on edge, and it will allow you to do quick 180-degree turns when someone inevitably spawns directly behind you and instantly starts shooting you. And then of course, as you play more and more, you can adjust this to fit your needs. Sometimes, when a match starts, you're really unlucky and you actually are within view of an enemy. This used to happen in the center part of the map Raid when it was around, but it sometimes happens in other maps as well. Obviously, when you spawn in, there's a countdown, and take this time to identify if any other players can see you. If you can see someone else, they can see you, and you can bet they'll try to kill you first the second the match starts. Your goal is to kill that person first before they kill you, so you need to make sure that center crosshair is aimed directly on their head, and you're gonna scope in and start shooting the second that match starts. Chances are the enemy may even try to move around a bit, so they'll be a little less accurate. And at this point, your goal isn't to necessarily evade bullets, but rather to simply kill that single person. So even if you stand still, that's perfectly fine in this scenario. You'll ultimately want to be the first in firing your bullets, because it really comes down to whoever starts firing first usually ends up winning that fight. Keep that in mind. When you first start a gun game match, the beginning is the most important time. You can either make or break the entire match during the first 30 seconds to minute of gameplay. You need to advance through your weapons as quickly as possible, because if you fall behind, it is super difficult to climb back up to the top. Eventually, people are going to start to get onto the LMGs and other more heavy-hitting weapons, and if you're still stuck on a weaker weapon, you're never going to be able to climb back up to the top. So move around as quickly as possible in the beginning. Shoot at literally everyone just to get everyone's attention and kill as many people as possible early on. Now when it comes to using the rocket launcher in gun games, there's a simple tip I would recommend everyone to follow. Sometimes I see people aiming for the actual body of an enemy player, and this is definitely not the way to go. It seems pretty obvious, but you want to aim for the enemy's feet. That way, the rocket itself won't zip past the enemy and then hit somewhere else far behind them. Aim for the feet, that's all I gotta say there. Now I know this tip is pretty obvious, but it's super important. Don't die in gun game, or at least minimize your deaths in this game mode. This is probably one of the most intense and kill-hungry game modes there is in Call of Duty Mobile, and every second you're not in the fight trying to kill other people, those enemy players are getting the kills instead of you, ranking up higher and higher compared to you. Even if it means you have to hold back for a second to regain health, you need to do that. Please be smart and don't run into a group of 5 players on a suicide mission trying to get as many kills as you can before you die. It will end up hurting you a few seconds later when you have to sit and wait to respawn and then take even more time to run back to where the action is. If you have a choice between staying alive and getting a kill, if you know when you get that kill you're going to die, choose to stay alive and don't get that kill. You don't want any wasted time in this game mode. Now always check your minimap. You never want to be so absorbed in the game that you forget to check that. It will allow you to see where your enemies are, obviously, and you can plan ahead for where your next target is. And on the flip side, don't spend too much time looking at your minimap. You should have your headphones on, that's a given, and you should be very observant listening to where the enemy footsteps and gunfire is located. If you're too focused on the minimap, someone could sneak up behind you and you would be completely oblivious, and that's never a good thing. It's always a good idea to learn where the spawns are located in the maps. If you know the area of the map where the most amount of people spawn on a regular basis, and the areas where the most amount of people run through, you can pick up a lot of really easy kills, even on people who were least expecting it. Of course, this will take time because you can't instantly understand how an entire map works when you first start playing, but maybe take down mental notes on where you can consistently see somebody, for example, running left to right. And if you hide in a certain spot where those enemies don't see you, well, there's a couple of easy kills for you right there. You always should be planning ahead when it comes to this game mode. Look to see which gun you have next. Plan your next movements ahead of whenever you finally get that gun. Say the next weapon you have will be a sniper rifle, and you have an assault rifle or a shotgun right now. You're probably not going to want to run into the center of Crash to get the final assault rifle kill. You're going to want to run to the more outer parts of the map, pick off a person who just spawned, and then you'll be able to get a more successful, longer ranged kill with the DMR or sniper or whatever you have next. If you're in the center of the map, I mean, come on. Somebody's going to really easily be able to kill you. You're stuck with the sniper trying the quick scope, and that's never a good thing. Just always look at the bottom of your screen to see whatever weapon is next. It is never a bad idea to look ahead in this game mode. And lastly, when it comes to the final weapon, the knife, you really don't want to be in an open area. I know it's tempting to start chasing a guy all around the map, even in highly open areas, but think about it. There are definitely going to be other people around you who will try to shoot you as well. I mean, they're going to see you as that first place guy, the guy who has just the knife left. They're going to do everything in their power to stop you from winning. So be in a situation where they don't see you. Hide inside buildings whenever you can and surprise somebody who's running by, and sit behind walls and avoid enemy gunfire. Your main goal is to not chase anyone down who has a knife, but rather get a quick surprise kill before they even know what's got them. And that, my friends, is how you can win gun game. I really hope this video helped you. I tried to compile as much information as I could in this video, and I really hoped you learned something new from what I had to say. I hope you liked the background gameplay, and if you guys do like Call of Duty Mobile tips and tricks videos like this, be sure to hit that like button to show your support, as I know a video with more support means you guys want to see more like it. Subscribe for lots of future videos on the channel, just like this one. Turn on post notifications if you have not done so already. Follow my social media linked down below, and that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.